The top 5 changes we might see this year in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Number 5. The return of old Pokemon through DLC. As we saw in Pokemon Sword and Shield, many Pokemon will return when Game Freak inevitably drops DLC content for the game. We've already seen incremental updates via the Terra Raid dens, receiving Charizard and Cinderace. With DLC expansion, many influential Pokemon such as Clefable, Kartana, and Heatran may make a return, enabling certain strategies or invalidating others. Expect the metagame to recrystallize around these core elements as they make their return to the game. Number 4. Tapu Koko. This Guardian of Alola gets its own spot at number 4 due to the introduction of Quark Drive, a powerful ability introduced in Scarlet and Violet, which only activates through the use of the booster energy or in electric terrain. At the moment, only Pincurchin has the ability to passively set electric terrain. And while there are certainly teams that make use of this ability, Pincurchin lacks many key elements that Koko brings to the table. High speed, pivot moves such as U-turn and Volt Switch, a recovery move, and a dual stab, to name just a few. If Tapu Koko returns, there is no doubt that the future Paradox Pokemon will become much more threatening, especially Iron Valiant. Number 3. The return of Megas. Gen 8 didn't allow the use of Mega Pokemon at all, in contrast to Generation 7, where they were still obtainable despite not being the main focus of the region. While Galar and Paldea are both quite geographically close to Kalos, there's a possibility that Megas may return in Scarlet and Violet, despite not appearing in Sword and Shield. Of course, we'll have to see what the DLC chooses to focus on, but there's a possibility that they choose to open up a small area of Kalos in the top right of the map, somewhere around where the Pyrenees Mountains would be. If so, could we see the return of Megas? You don't need me to tell you that this would have a huge impact on the metagame as we know it. Many people were disappointed when Game Freak decided to remove Megas in Gen 8, so it's possible that they make a return here. We'll just have to wait and see. Number 2. Pokemon Home functionality. As previously mentioned, we are currently receiving new Pokemon in Terra Raid dens, but eventually Pokemon Home support will be added for the game. This will bring the Hisuian Pokemon into the game, as well as some old legendary Pokemon as well. More importantly, we still don't have confirmation as to whether old Pokemon will be allowed to transfer their moves into Scarlet and Violet. If they are unable to do so, then there won't be a big change in the metagame, but that would signal a departure from all previous mainline games with regards to transferring Pokemon between generations. However, if Game Freak does keep in line with their past actions, then Pokemon such as Weavile will regain access to moves like Knockoff, Blissey will get Toxic, and Rotom will get Defog. As of now, we don't know which way this will go, but in either case, it will be a big deal when it happens. Number 1. New DLC Pokemon. Any new Pokemon introduced in the DLC are certain to be very powerful. Leaks have already revealed a couple of them, and they are indeed looking to be at least decently strong. Sword and Shield set the precedent of creating meta-shaking threats such as Urshifu, Regieleki, and Calyrex, and there's no reason why they wouldn't continue this trend. In order to convince the public to buy the DLC content, Game Freak will certainly create powerful and marketable Pokemon to include in the DLC, both exciting the fanbase and forcing anyone that wants to play competitive to buy the games to get the new meta-defining legendaries. Regardless of whether that's good or bad, the point is that we should expect this method from Game Freak in the future, and Scarlet and Violet's metagame will surely be impacted by these monsters very soon.